for having this chat. What we're doing is we're speaking to loads of people that have been successful in loads of different walks of life, and obviously we've met a few times, and I know you're doing some great podcasts, some great things online, and in business and personal pursuits. So I wanted to find out if you could just give us an overview about who Steven Sulley is.
Right, I'm 32 years of age. I consider myself a completely normal guy, but I like to think I follow like very basic stuff, the fundamentals. I have a clear routine, what I do every single day, and I feel that all the great people in life, it's not really down to something magical, it's down to their routine.
Okay.
I talk in one of my podcasts, a routine of a champion. Now that people have their own routines, I just think if you follow a winning routine which gets you ahead every single day, I think that is absolutely key. And for me, most of the time I'm following very, very similar things in order to achieve certain goals.
Cool. So what businesses are you involved in at the moment?
So my bread and butter is an art agency, which is Woodbury House. You've been down there a few times. Yeah. It's an art company which we promote different artists. The main one is a guy called Richard Hambleton. He's in the spotlight at the moment. He's been in different publications. We've been in different publications because of him. He is the godfather of street art. We have other artists like Scooney and Days, Crash, Futura, just to name a few. Quite an exciting business. We've done a few shows around the world, and the other couple of businesses that I would say are my backbone to my life is a sales company which promotes different financial products from bonds, debentures, FIPS, oil projects, also arts and collectibles. And one of the main things I'm really interested in, more of a passion as well, is my property business with my partner. Okay. Which is cool.
Cool. So with the art business, is art something you've always had a passion with, or is it something you just kind of went down that route because you knew there was an opportunity there?
I've been asked questions a few times about art, like how did I get into it? And to be honest, no, I never had a background in art. I never studied art. It was kind of right place, right time. You know, the definition of luck is when opportunity meets preparation. And I was approached by a massive art dealer. Someone who's well renowned in the art space, specifically for street art or contemporary urban. He knew I was and my business partner very good at sales. We had a sales organisation, and he tested the waters by saying to us, look, can I put some art into your company to see if you can promote it, to see if you can sell it to the right individuals, and let's just see what we can do. And within about a 6 or 7 week period, we had sold out of all the art that he gave us. So basically that was like the moment where he said, you know what, you've got a business here, why don't you set up an art company? And we thought, you know what, we'll give it a shot. So we did, and we formed Woodbury House. We made a bunch of mistakes to begin with. Rob Moore's got a book called Act Now and Get Perfect Later, or Take Action Now, something like that, Get Perfect Later. And we've done exactly that. Didn't allow, people to say you haven't got an art background or you've got no knowledge about art. We just saw a great opportunity. We had a passion for business. We loved art, even though we had very little knowledge in it, and we just went ahead with it. And we're learning all the time along the way. And I feel that sometimes we're not from the background, it actually puts you into an advantage because you're not conditioned by how you're meant to act in the market. We just go on our gut.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, well, I've been over to Woodbury House. It's wicked. It's a really good place.
Yeah.
How long have you had that place now?
So we've been in that studio for about 2.5 years, nearly 3 years. The whole brand's been around for over 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. We've got a lot more to achieve, a lot more to do, and I like to think that Woodbury will evolve into more than just art. It will go into all kinds of different art areas, such as music, publishing, singing. Anything to do with being creative.
You going to do some singing?
I don't think so. Even though I've got a very good friend of mine, a guy called Jevon, who's a rapper, and I have joked around about him trying to teach me how to rap or sing. I've got to admit, if I could sing or rap, I would absolutely love it.
I've met you a few times now. Every time I've met you, you've come across really laid back, chilled out, focused. How do you maintain that? Because you've got a few businesses, you've got staff you employ, you've got commitments, financial commitments to sell, and commitments to be successful. How do you remain calm and focused in the zone?
It's a bit of a tough one to answer. I think naturally I'm quite I'm quite sort of laid back anyway. But I'm a big believer of there are certain things out of your control.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain things out of your control. For example, taking a very basic one, a train not turning up or being late. Really easy to get pissed off of it, and I've seen many people get pissed off of it. But at the end of the day, it's out of your control.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that you can control is how you deal with it and your response, or the way you react to that certain scenario.
Yeah.
So I just like to do what I need to do, and whatever else happens outside of my mindset will happen. Obviously some things will piss me off, and I like to acknowledge it because I think it serves me, but I don't like to live in that state. I like to think, okay, that's annoying me, but how can I deal with it? How can it serve me? How can I just push on from there? Markets will always change, governments will always change, policies will always change, and it's not those things that make you successful, it's how you kind of work with it rather than push against it, basically. So yeah, going back to that, just trying to think about the bigger picture all the time. My goals, my vision for my life, rather than the small little things which are happening right now.
That's good. So you're pretty young to have achieved all these things. When did you kind of hit that kind of tipping point to kind of be entrepreneurial and go off on your own and create these businesses?
Well, I think there was a slight entrepreneurial. I never really classed myself as an entrepreneur either. It's a bit of a weird one. I heard Alan Sugar say once, Lord Alan Sugar, that entrepreneur, that word's thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not really something that you say about yourself, it's how other people describe you. And that resonates with me. I've never really called myself an entrepreneur, but I know I'm a go-getter. I know I always have wanted better things in life. Sales, when I found sales, was almost like the promised land because I wasn't very educated. I hated school with a passion. There were certain things I resented. I didn't like the whole conforming to get up, go to school, forced to go to school, then get a job and work for somebody. Even though that is fine for certain people, it wasn't for me. So when I found sales, and I found that I didn't need a background in sales, I didn't need a qualification, I didn't need, my mum and dad didn't have to be salespeople. I could just be me, but be excited, enthusiastic and energised.
Yeah.
And
the 3 E's.
Yeah, and then come across over the phone with all that passion.
Yeah.
And you could end up making some money, or a lot of money, if you just committed on it and kept on going, basically. So that was one point, but even before that, when I was in plumbing, I spoke about in one of my podcasts, you either have your own plan or you fall into someone else's plan. When I've been apprentice plumber, I just knew back then that it wasn't for me, and I took my own, against my mum and dad's wishes, I took my own action and said, look, I'm going to leave, and went into another career, didn't really like that, went into something else, and then I found sales. So I think now looking back, that was kind of an entrepreneurial kind of side, because even though I wasn't making a load of money, I still had to get up and go to say, enough's enough, this is not my life. Because I could visualise myself in 5 or 10 years still doing plumbing, but really unhappy and really depressed. And I think that no matter how much money you make in something, if you're not satisfied, if you're not happy, and if you're not getting fulfilment out of it, you need to leave.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah.
You need to. It's so important.
It's tough for a lot of people, I imagine, to do that. I think especially if they've got commitments and families, and they've got that feeling of they have to rather than they want to. Give any advice to those kind of people that are kind of stuck in a bit of that rut and that need to kind of change their life up a little bit to achieve what they want?
Yeah, my 2 bits of advice is do it early before all that happens, or as early as you can. Like if you know there's signs now and you haven't got so many commitments, just do it now. Personally, I'll go with my gut and just think, just get out of that scenario.
Yeah.
But let's just say you're 5 or 10 years in, you've got a wife, you've got a family, husband, you've got loads of commitments and mortgage. Very, very difficult to walk away from it because it's catch-22. You're not happy, but financially it's keeping you afloat. I would definitely recommend at that point, bite down on your gum shield, weather the storm, but then start getting yourself educated, and then have a side business and have something where it keeps you passionate and excited, but also financially it's building up. So then eventually you can take that leap to focus on your passion later on. So you're not just going into it head first, blind, or going into the deep end, but you slowly but surely start building it up. But the worst thing you can do is do nothing, because you will die. The thing is, so many people I look at sometimes and think, they're acting like they're going to live forever. And the sad thing is we're not. It's not rehearsal, we've got one shot. So everyone needs to realise that, and you've got to act now, like literally, in order to pull back some of that time so you can enjoy your life and get fulfilment out what you're doing.
Your routine, according to your podcast, is 1 minute past 5. Why is it 1 minute past 5, just out of interest?
Because it's just too normal to do at 5 o'clock.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, 1 minute past 5 is... I didn't want to do it at 4:59 because it's a weird thing. But if I told myself I'm getting up at 4:59, I just remember in the 4, so it make me feel tired. But if it's 5:01, I know I'm getting up. I feel like I've got an extra hour, even though it's an extra minute or a couple of minutes. And it's just, I like people to remember me because of small little things, and the 1 minute past 5 everyone always asks me about.
And have you ever knocked up at 1 minute past 5?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Look, the thing, I've had a couple of people listen to my podcast, reach out to me, people that don't know me so well, and ask me all these questions. And the reality is, I'm not Superman, and I'm never going to come across false to the people following me and say, yeah, every single day I do it. I think the key to winning, the key to success, is most of the time. So that is like 95% of the time you're doing exactly what you're meant to be doing. There are times where you're going to have that 5% where you mess up, cock up, or you just want to, have a bit of a blowout or lay in or whatever, or eat that junk food. But most of the time, 95% of the time, I am, sticking to my routine.
Fair enough. So the diet's pretty big with you. How do you resist that Five Guys burger and all that after work beer?
The beer is a bit of a tough one. Sometimes I do fall into a pattern as well of having one or two here or there. And currently right now, like at the start of the month, I was like, right, no drinking for a whole entire month. I always do like a dry Jan, but this year, just gone, I've done up until halfway to April, like April the 13th, I think I had my first drink. It was like a bit of a demonstration to see how far I could go, but what kind of things would happen with my life. And I attracted the biggest deal I've ever done in art during that time. And I don't think that's coincidence or sheer luck. I think that is down to committing on a better self, on a higher sort of level, and then you just attract these bigger things into your life. Some people may not agree with that, but I honestly do think law of attraction is all about thinking about a bigger thing, wanting better things, but then dedicating yourself to a better way of living, so that you start attracting certain things. If that makes any kind of sense. So I spar regularly once a week. I try to anyway. Sometimes things get in the way, but tomorrow, for example, I'm sparring a good friend of mine, a guy called Ben Davis, who is a Queensbury boxing champion, just won a tournament. And he's a tough guy. And even though we're friends, we go at it when we spar. We are smashing each other in the face and the stomach. And I know if I have that beer or that burger, that's going to slow me down. And the thing is, in certain things that we do, if you get slowed down, it's fine. But in boxing, you're actually going to get physically hurt. So that keeps me in check. So I'm going to do a podcast soon about the benefits of why most people should take up boxing, even if it's just casually, because it does keep you in check for more than just boxing's sake. It really keeps your diet aligned, training, work, everything. It
all kind of clicks together.
There's a congruency with it.
So I've tried plant-based diets. I think there's a bit of an association with plant-based and kind of vegan diets that they're not cool and they're not right. What got you into eating some plant-based diets?
So my thing is, I'm definitely not a vegan, and I'm not a full-blown vegetarian. I will still eat a bit of meat, but I've really condensed it right down to the weekends. And my goal is to probably become more pescatarian, which is fish, and like plant-based stuff and fruits and whatever else. There's two reasons. One is stuff I've read online. You don't know what you don't know until you start looking for this stuff. So a typical eat meter who, let's just say, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying how I used to think, is, well, no, we need protein and therefore I need meat. Well, in actual fact, if you start researching all kinds of foods, you can find protein outside of meat. So straight away, that takes out you need meat. Also, the two biggest killers when it comes down to diseases in this country is heart disease and cancer. Both of them start from a high pH level of acidicness in your blood.
Right.
So if you've got a high acidicness in your blood, you're much more likely to create an environment in your body where cancer or heart disease or a stroke or a heart attack could occur. Now, if you've got high alkaline, which is from plant-based stuff, you're much more likely to live a healthy and a good life. It doesn't guarantee it, but it increases the probability. So I just thought to myself one day, do you know what? I do like meat. It tastes really good, but all this stuff I'm reading is too compelling, so I'm going to condense it right down to only having basically 2 days a week, and sometimes I don't even do that. I've got 2 cats, and I love dogs, cats, I love animals, and every time I watch something and it's like related to a cow's or a sheep or a chicken personality and they get slaughtered, I feel really bad. It really does play on my mind.
Right.
I know some people won't care, but for me it does play on my mind. So therefore that must be something out there telling me that maybe I don't need to eat it.
Makes it a bit more of an easier decision when you've got a kind of compassion for the animals.
And at the same time, look, if people were meant to eat meat, but then you've got clearly people eating not meat and living till a ripe old age, that's a clear sign that you don't need to survive on meat. I'm not saying everyone should convert it, I'm just saying that if we were meant to eat meat, then people would be dying at a very young age because they've got a meat deficiency in their body. In
your podcast, quite a few of them, you talk about goals and setting goals, daily goals, weekly goals, things like that, which I think is really interesting. I couldn't agree more with you. Setting those targets to work towards every day, every week are really sensible. But what I was interested in is what your vision is. What's your long-term vision?
So my long-term vision is, well, first of all, I'm never going to retire. When people always talk about retirement, I've been asked a couple of times, when are you going to retire? I'm never going to retire. I think the best form of living is when you're pushing for certain things. Now, work later on in life, 5 or 10 years time, 15 years time, 22 years time will be different to now, which I appreciate. But I'm never ever going to switch off from making money, pushing myself, and looking to explore new areas. I like Warren Buffett, ripe old age, but he's still pushing the boundaries, looking for new ways. Even though he's one of the richest men in the world, billionaire, I admire it. He keeps on pushing, and I do see myself like that. My vision is to do what I want when I want, how I want. It's not all about financial things and luxury items, but let's have it right. If you could jump on a private jet that you own, which is right by your mansion, and you can go anywhere with your family and friends, people that you really care about and admire, out of a click of a finger, why wouldn't you want that? That's what I want. Wellness is a big thing for me, so I'd like to. The NHS is a great thing. We all know or all believe that it could be improved. I'm not going to slate the government because I know they have to go through a tough time sorting all that out, and I admire what they do. But for me, I would love to have so much money that I can set up wellness centres where it's like the NHS but even better. Like the science is there to do with food, nutrition, how to put people through certain rehab, do it in style, do it in luxury, do it in comfort. I like to put my money into that. I've got a big passion for animals. I hate people going poaching. It really doesn't sit well with me. I made a joke once, I'd like to set up an organisation where we poach the poachers. It's
a bit. You get quite a few customers for that.
It was a bit of a joke, but deep down I would like that to happen because I really resent these people going after innocent animals. It's just horrible. I saw someone showed me once. He was a hunter. I'm not going to say where from, just because he's listening to us, but he showed me him shooting a giraffe, and I'm just like, there is no skill in that. It's just really, so I like money to go to something like that, saving wildlife. I think that's a key thing for me. But just doing what I want when I want, and doing it with my family, and setting up a massive property company, so you're getting repeat money month in, month out. You're homing people, which is great, creating a lot of jobs, creating a lot of tax for the economy. I've got other businesses I'm into, which I've got a tech wellness company called Mimboso, which stands for Mind, Body and Soul, which I'll talk to you, it's another subject, but it's like Instagram, but for wellness, for people want to better themselves. So I like that to be viral and to be recognised for that. I like to do talks. I like to go and do a TED talk one day. Yeah. There's loads of different things I like to do. Yeah.
Do you do much charity stuff?
Done a bit, yeah. So I used to box for a boxing club called Bromley and Downham Boys.
Okay.
There was a guy called Reg Foster and Richard Foster, who were the coaches. They were son and father. Great people, and they reached out to me a few years ago, and the club was suffering. And it was more than a boxing club. It used to support a lot of the kids in the area, or young adults, getting them off the street, putting them into boxing, learning the craft, gelling with a community. And if that went under, it would probably mean more people on the street, therefore more crime. And that's not something I wanted to see. And I've got to say, part of my confidence, part of my success, is down to that boxing club, without a doubt. There was one guy in particular, a guy called Sam Webb, an ex-pro boxer, who I ended up sponsoring. It gave me a lot of encouragement. So anyway, they reached out to me. I gave them some money to keep the company afloat, and I ended up meeting Prince Philip when they opened the boxing club again. Oh, wow. I actually shook his hand. He congratulated me for investing the money into the club. I didn't want nothing for it. I just wanted to see the club succeed, really.
Yeah, it's a lot. Boxing's a big part of your world, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can kind of see why, because it's discipline, diet, focus, determination, all those kind of things that you need to stay focused.
Yeah.
You read lots of different books.
Yeah.
And listen to lots of different podcasts. You have to pick one book for these guys to pick up or go and buy. Which one would it be and why?
It's always the same, and a few years ago I wouldn't have hesitated to say it, but now I am, and you'll understand why when I say it. So the book is called Think Like a Champion, but it's by Donald Trump.
Okay.
Now obviously Donald Trump is very controversial. The reason why this is my favourite, probably my favourite book, or in the top three, this has got nothing to do with politics, by the way. It's got nothing to do with now he's a president of the United States. It's actually just about him as an individual, as a business person. The chapters are 1 to 2 pages long, and he addresses this really early in the book. He says the reason why the chapters are 1 or 2 pages long rather than 10 or 15 is because in life, if you can get something done quickly and get to the point, get it fucking done quickly. Don't ramble on. And I remember that straight away, and I thought, you know what, that's got a lot of sense in it.
What tip would you give your younger self?
There's a life beyond obviously school and college and stuff. It serves a purpose, all those things. I would never say to people not go, because it's good to give you a foundation. But there's going to be people in that school, students, there's going to be unfortunately teachers, head of the year, the person who runs the school may say to you or say out loud, if you don't get good grades, you're never going to amount to nothing, because that happened to me. And that's very far from the truth. School will give you a foundation again, but that foundation or that qualification does not guarantee you a good job. It does not guarantee you job security, and it does not guarantee you that you're going to be a multi-millionaire, a billionaire, if that's your goal. Your willpower, your dedication, your pushing yourself will not guarantee it, but enhance your chances of becoming a very, very successful person. So just understand that, school's going to serve you, but there's life beyond that. And as long as you find out what you want to do early on, and you have these big goals and ambitions, and you tune into them quite at an early age, that's the main thing that's going to serve you. That's the best thing to focus on.
Now, I know from speaking to you, from listening to your podcast, there's loads of things that make you driven, that make you determined, but down to the fun stuff. What have you bought? What one item have you bought of your success that give you that butterfly, that little tingle thing? I'm really pleased I could afford to buy this, because you've worked hard, you stay focused, and achieved so much.
It's a lot different now. At 32 years of age, I still like there's certain things that I liked when I was 21, 22, for example.
Yeah.
But I have sort of been there, done it now, and you acclimatise to the things that you really wanted to achieve. It just becomes a bit more normal.
Okay.
So my first real kind of supercar, which was a yellow Lamborghini convertible when I was like 22 years of age, that for me kind of changed my life.
Yeah.
Because I remember even driving with a friend of mine saying, like, if everything kind of fell to the wayside now, at least you could always say that you've owned this car. And back then, if anyone owned that kind of car, Ferrari, Porsche, Lamborghini, anything like that, I thought that was it. That was your life completely made up. Now I know, you know, that's far from the truth. You know, there's more important things to life. But when I was a young man, because my mum and dad never had that, no one I knew had anything like that.
Yeah.
So as soon as I hit that goal, it was like me hitting the peak of a mountain. It really was like the euphoria that I got was incredible. Better than any kind of drug or any kind of other experience. This was like an out of body moment. But like I said, like, the downside to any goal, no matter how big it is, you do acclimatise.
Yeah.
And if you don't look at the next thing, you can start falling backwards.
Need to keep taking those steps.
Yeah. So cars are great. They make you feel really, really good. You obviously get that endorphin feeling because of the sound, the speed, everything else. But I've got a new family about to develop. I've got a son on the way.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And yeah, a lot of my gut kind of things that I want to achieve now is definitely for my family.
Yeah.
And do you know what, business, like, I've really appreciated business a lot more now, certainly with the property stuff. I'm homing people. I mean, that is a really good feel-good factor. I do HMOs, which is House of Multiple Occupation in Medway, and they're getting really good quality rooms and they're getting really good quality reviews, and that makes me real fucking really good.
Yeah.
Like, really good. Because I know it's serving their lives. They're going to work, making money, they're coming back to a really nice room, and they've got a really nice community inside the houses. And I don't know, I go to bed and think, you know, I've done something really good there.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for speaking to me, man.
Thank you.
Really good, really interesting. Check out Steve's podcast, The Steven Sulley Study,
Yeah.
on iTunes. It's on Instagram as well.
Sulley.Steven.
Yeah, really great podcast. If you get a chance to have a listen to it, check it out. It's really, really interesting, and loads of decent pointers of it. But thanks for your time today, Steve.
Thank you.
And catch up soon.
Cool.